Hey, second graders, welcome back. Today, we are going to continue our study in schools and communities, and we are going to start a new book. So, Monday, Mrs. Waller talked to you about communities and how we live in a community. And in this new book, we're going to learn about some other communities and what life is like in their communities, and specifically what school is like in their communities, since we're studying both schools and communities. So today, I want you to look at the learning target that I have posted here on the board. It says, I can answer questions using key details about the problem in protecting the Amazon. Protecting the Amazon is the name of the article. So, key details about the problem. What's a problem? Yeah, it's something that's difficult to understand or to deal with. And just as our community sometimes has problems, you're going to read about other communities and they have problems too. So, we're going to get right into this new book. I have a copy of it right here. And as you can see, it's also right here in my virtual classroom. And it's gonna tell us a lot about schools and why they're important. So I want you to keep thinking about this as we begin our new book called Off to Class: Incredible and Unusual Schools Around the World. You guys are going to be researchers as you study different schools around the world. And this is an informational text, which means you don't have to read all of the sections. We're going to closely read only a few sections from this book, but here's the great news. This book is on Epic, and so I have assigned it to each of you. So if after we're studying a few of these different incredible and unusual schools around the world, if you want to read other sections, it'll be there on Epic, and you can do just that. So let me flip over now to Epic so I can show you the section that we're going to read about today. And we're going to be specifically focused on the problem. Okay, so this is the article that we're going to read today. And I'm sure it's very small right now on your screen. So I'm going to be doing the reading for you right now during the video. And you're just going to be kind of looking and noticing and thinking and wondering and questioning. And then later, you can go to Epic and you can find this. This is actually pages 12 and 13. No, on Epic, it's page 11. Oops, I'm reading the page numbers from the actual book. So on Epic, I believe it's page 11, and it's called Protecting the Amazon. So when you get there, you'll know you're there when you've gone to the section called Protecting the Amazon. Okay, the first thing I want to point out over here is this map. This map right here, that shows the part of the world that we're talking about. Now, we live up here in North America, this green continent. But we're going to be talking about this yellow continent here, South America. And on the continent of South America, there is a country called Brazil. It's a big country, and you've probably heard of Brazil. And in Brazil, there is a city there called Xixuau. And it's not spelled anything like you would think it would be spelled. Xixuau is actually spelled with an X. I'm going to zoom in. Let me see if it gets big. Xixuau. It took me a while to learn how to pronounce Xixuau, but that is the correct way to pronounce it. And that's the location of this school. Now, I want you to take a minute and I want you to look at some of these photos here. What is Xixuau, Brazil like? Look around at some of these pictures. Oh, I see a little picture here too. There's a lot of water. There's snakes. And it looks like people are using boats to get around. Looks like these actually might even be some kids and they're traveling around on the boat. I'm going to read page 12 for you, which is actually this one right here. Let me zoom it in a little bit. There we go. That is so much better. Okay. Hang on. Okay. A window to the world. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do this in a different, I think I'm going to start at the beginning because I think you need to hear about Macias first. Macias lives in the remote village of Xixuau, deep in the Brazilian rainforest. His village is on the banks of the Rio Negro, and the only way to get there is by boat. To get to the closest city, Manaus, takes 5 days by canoe or 30 to 40 hours by speedboat. Until recently, the village was virtually cut off from the rest of the world. There was no electricity and no phones. Without electricity or a connection to the outside world, the villagers found it hard to earn a living without turning to illegal hunting, trapping, or logging. The tiny one-room school offered only basic primary school up to about grade 3. If students in the village wanted to go further in school, they had to move to Manaus. What was this page mostly about? Yeah, it was mostly about that it's hard for children in Xixuau, Brazil to go to school. Where does Macias live? Well, if I look right back up here in the article, he lives in the remote village of Xixuau, deep in the Brazilian rainforest. Yes, so he lives in a small village. Now, how many days does it take to get to the closest city called Manaus? If you go by canoe, 5 days. Now, 5 days to get to the next city, does that mean it's far away or close? Gosh, now, what doesn't the village have where Macias lives? Yeah, they don't have electricity or phones. So I want you to think about what you know about electricity and phones. If there's no electricity or phones where Macias and his friends live, what are some things they can't do? Right. They can't watch TV. They can't call their friends. They can't turn on a light or use a computer. So what have you just learned about the school where Macias goes? Yeah, it has one room and it only goes up to grade 3. Let's look at this last sentence down here. If students in the village wanted to go further in school, they had to move to Manaus. To go further in school, that means to go to school past the 3rd grade. So what would students in the village have to do if they wanted to keep going to school after 3rd grade? Yeah, they've got to go to the next city, which is far away. Okay, we're going to read a little bit more information about where Macias lives, and then we're going to be doing some writing about it. So we're going to write an answer that we can share with other people, and when we write an answer that we're going to share with other people, we need to make sure we write in complete sentences with our best spelling and punctuation. Okay, I'm going to flip over to show you what you're going to be writing today. Here it is. Now, on this page, it tells you to rewatch page 12 from the Off to Class Read Aloud video. but there isn't really an off to class read aloud video. There's just my video. So you can rewatch this if you want to hear more information. You can also, it doesn't say it on this page, but you can go to Epic. And when you go to Epic, you can go to this page, but remember that I think it's page 11 on Epic, not 12. I think the page numbers are different. So you can go back to Epic though, and you can read it yourself. And you can think about the details in the text. And then you're going to answer this question below. And when you answer questions, we're going to be what's called very thorough. When you are thorough, you tell a lot of things. You tell all the things. That's what being thorough is. So I don't want just to hear one thing. I want to hear everything you found and learned in sentences here. What do we know about Mesias's village? And we're going to use the text and the illustrations to write a short description of the village. Now let me come back over here to the text, and I'm going to read you another small part of the text. Okay, so now I'm going to, change the page on myself here. Okay, get back there. There we go. Now I want to show you this little piece over here. I think it's because I was zoomed in that I was trying to, when I do that, how do I get over there? There we go. Now I can get over there. All right. See his picture? Hi, my name is Mesias, and I am 10 years old, and I live in a village in the middle of the rainforest. Here's what he has to say. In my village, there are a few houses surrounded by the jungle, which has lots of animals and birds. We go fishing in canoes built by the people here in the village. There is a crocodile in the village port. At my school, there are 19 children ranging in age from 4 to 16 years old. We all study in the same classroom. We have wireless internet and a computer. We study mathematics, the Portuguese language, history, natural sciences, and geography, and very often we talk about conservation. We learn not to throw rubbish into the river, not to kill the animals, and not to cut down trees unnecessarily. I like my class. My classmates, my teacher, and I like being in the middle of the forest and breathing clean air. Wow. Now what do we know about his village? We can certainly use this text and the pictures to write a good description. Okay, and finally, I know we've already talked about it, but remember today we were going to be thinking about the problem. And I know you remember from reading right here what that problem was. This village is virtually cut off from the rest of the world, which means they really can't talk to other people in the rest of the world or see what the rest of the world is like because there's no electricity and no phones. Now, it does say until recently, which means that's how it used to be. And you probably noticed that Mesias says that they do have wireless internet and a computer. So that was the problem, but now you can tell it's not a problem anymore. When we come back to this text on Friday, we're going to find out about how that problem got solved. All right? Well, have a wonderful work day today, boys and girls. Bye.